The Provincial Competitiveness Index (PCI) is an index evaluating the ease of doing business, economic governance, and administrative reforms by the provincial and city governments to promote the private sector. So far, the PCI of Vietnam has entered the 13th year. Over the past 13 years of publishing the Provincial Competitiveness Index, the PCI has seen the efforts of local governments to improve the business environment and create favorable conditions for businesses. On the strong moves of the cities and provinces in 2017 when we reflected in the PCI rankings, or when we on the show Sharing Vietnam Today.
Welcome to Sharing Vietnam on VTC10 NetViet. Provincial Competitiveness Index, or PCI, is a joint effort of Vietnam Chamber of Commerce and Industry (VCCI) and USAID Vietnam Competitiveness Initiative (VNCI) since 2004. PCI is designed to assess and rank the performance, capacity, and willingness of provincial governments to develop business-friendly regulatory environments for private sector's development. To find out more about PCI and also how it has contributed to improve Vietnam's business environment over the past 1 decade, let's have a talk today with Mr. Michael Greene. He is the USAID Vietnam Mission Director. Thank you so much for joining us today. USAID plays the key role in bringing PCI to life. How did USAID make the decision to support the implementation of PCI report in Vietnam, and what are the goals that set out?
We got involved initially as part of our goal of improving economic growth and investment and job creation in Vietnam. And the PCI is designed to improve economic governance, improve the business environment in order to promote economic growth and jobs. And so the PCI itself is an index that's made up of 10 sub-indices that measure various ways in which businesses find it to operate in the business environment in Vietnam. Things like everything from how easy it is to start a business to all of the regulations and inspections and so on along the way, and even indices of informal payments, which is an indice of corruption, which these are all important factors of how easy it is for businesses to operate in the provinces. And so we think it's been very effective. It's a collective voice of businesses, 12,000 businesses that anonymously express their experience of operating in the environment. So we really do think it's a good reflection of how businesses experience the business environment in the provinces.
So over more than a decade of doing and working on PCI, what are the impacts that do you think that PCI have had, especially on improving the business environment here in Vietnam?
We think that the PCI has had a tremendous impact in terms of driving a competition, essentially, for which province can score best on the Provincial Competitiveness Index. That competition has kept improving the business environment in these provinces, which has driven investment. We think it's had a tremendous impact, and that's why we've continued to stay engaged.
Do you know of any improvement measures taken by provinces in Vietnam over the years in order to make them look better and to perform better in PCI rankings?
I think provinces have learned which indices, which processes that are easier for them to improve on. Things like actually business registration are something that if you focus attention on, you can rapidly improve and therefore rapidly improve your PCI score. And so this is good. That part of the competition is excellent, that they will improve a particular aspect. I think after so many years, a lot of the easy wins have already taken place in terms of improving their PCI score. And so I think each province is focusing on the indices that they feel that their province is best capable of improving. And so that's excellent for the overall economy.
Mm-hmm.
In the PCI 2017 rankings, Quảng Ninh ranks first, Da Nang is in the second place, followed by Đồng Tháp. Hanoi increased one position, ranked 13th, while Ho Chi Minh City still maintained the 8th position.
Năm 2017 chúng tôi đã nâng cao chất lượng hoạt động của trung tâm hành chính công cấp tỉnh, cấp huyện, kết nối đến một cửa điện tử cấp xã một cách hệ thống. Trên cơ sở vận hành chính quyền điện tử, chúng tôi đã đầu tư và người dân tham gia tương tác với chính quyền điện tử để đạt mục tiêu công khai minh bạch, giảm thời gian trên 50% các bộ thủ tục hành chính theo quy định.
In addition to the rankings, when being asked, more than 10,000 domestic enterprises, 2,000 FDI enterprises had a more positive sense of business environment in Vietnam in 2017. Specifically, the companies in the survey said that the rate of unofficial calls dropped to 59% instead of 66% in 2016. The attitude of public authorities was better at 45% than 35% of 2015, and 67% of businesses said that difficulties were removed timely.
Một cái không khí chung là không khí cải thiện. Tuy nhiên thì một số lĩnh vực cũng cho thấy là cái nỗ lực cải thiện của Việt Nam cần phải nhiều hơn nữa. Chẳng hạn như là điều tra doanh nghiệp dân doanh thì cho thấy rằng là những vấn đề tiếp cận đất đai đang ngày càng khó khăn hơn. Doanh nghiệp cũng cảm thấy bất an hơn về cái vấn đề về thay đổi quy hoạch, vấn đề về thu hồi đất đai, những vấn đề về minh bạch.
The highlight of this report is Đồng Tháp Province, 10 consecutive years in the top of the PCI rankings. To achieve this place, the province leadership always puts themselves on pressure to change. Many provinces are still in the reform process. If Đồng Tháp is satisfied at any time, the province will be left behind.
Trước tiên thì chúng tôi cũng bám sát thôi, bám sát các chỉ số thành phần mà chúng tôi trên cái cơ sở các chỉ số đó mà chúng tôi đẩy mạnh cái cải cách, nhất là cái thủ tục hành chính, như là cái lĩnh vực mà chúng tôi thường tuyên bố hoặc là cái quan điểm của tỉnh là cùng đồng hành với doanh nghiệp. Những cái khởi sự như vậy, những cái thúc đẩy như vậy mà thành một cái hệ thống chính trị từ tỉnh đến cơ sở chúng tôi nhất quán. Trên cơ sở chúng tôi xây dựng các cái tiêu chí để phấn đấu. Trên cơ sở tiêu chí phấn đấu đó chẳng hạn như là về cái thủ tục hành chính, về lĩnh vực cái cấp giấy chứng nhận quyền sử dụng đất, rồi cấp giấy chứng nhận đầu tư vân vân. Chẳng hạn như là giấy chứng nhận quyền sử dụng đất là khoảng 31 ngày, chúng tôi còn 16 ngày. Giấy chứng nhận đầu tư thì cũng 30 ngày, còn xuống 15 ngày.
Đầu tiên tôi cảm thấy là cái tốc độ đáp ứng thông tin cũng như là cái mức độ quan tâm của lãnh đạo tỉnh, và nó thể hiện xuyên suốt là các cái phòng ban, các sở ban ngành và các cái huyện xã khi chúng tôi có những cái câu hỏi liên quan đến môi trường đầu tư và những cái câu hỏi liên quan khác trong quá trình sản xuất kinh doanh thì chúng tôi được đáp ứng các cái thông tin một cách rất là nhanh nhạy, kịp thời.
Currently, apart from the administrative reform and the investment promotion, the leaders of Đồng Tháp Province are maintaining the dialogue program such as receiving businesses, joint dialogues with businesses, respond directly to the problems of the business. The dialogue mechanism has made Đồng Tháp become a hub for attracting new investment in the southern region of Vietnam.
The PCI 2017 report has been launched lately. What are the observations of yours from this year's report?
I thought this year's report was very interesting in several respects. I think one of the most positive aspects is the expression of optimism for the business environment. You may have noticed that 60% of foreign invested businesses and 52% of domestic businesses plan to expand their business in the next 2 years. And that means more investment, more job creation and expansion. And so that means that there's a lot of investor confidence in the continuing improvement in the business environment. I would also note that continuous improvement in the business environment has continued essentially since 2005, and It has accelerated, I think, since Resolution 19 started to mandate that provinces include a goal of improving their PCI score. This is in 2014. And they've been coming up with creative ideas like the Biz Cafe idea in Dong Thap, which I think is great. Increased business confidence reflected in their business plans to expand. The slight improvement in the corruption indices about whether or not companies need to make informal payments to make their businesses run better. Things like we've seen a correlation between improved infrastructure and improved economic governance, and some provinces that show extra strong growth, like Da Nang, for example, as usual. And so that's been an interesting correlation. And so overall, just to note the overall trend of the median PCI score continuing to improve over time, which is a very positive development.
What do you think are the benefits that provinces get when having high rankings in the PCI report?
I think the biggest benefit is that the data show that if provinces improve their PCI score, in other words, that reflects their improvement in their business environment, they get increased investment. The statistics show that a 1-point increase in a province's PCI score correlates to a 3% increase in new business registrations in the following years, which reflects greater investor confidence, greater investment. So they get a definite benefit.
Which means investors definitely refer to PCI rankings when it comes to making decision where to invest.
Absolutely, there is no doubt about that, and the different investors are looking for different factors for their businesses. For some, geographic location might be the most important, or infrastructure might be the most important. Everyone focuses on transparency and strong governance as an important factor, but each investor looks at different factors, all of which are essentially reflected in the PCI report. And just anecdotally from the American Embassy, where I work, the foreign investors, American investors, come to the embassy and say, we want to look at the PCI report, refer to the PCI report, and discuss it with you in order to help us make our decision about where to invest. And so there's definitely investor interest in using the PCI to decide where they're going to invest.
But what about the remaining issues? In your opinion, what are the biggest problems that we still need to tackle?
I would say that certainly the informal payments are a problem, and but it's interesting that you raised the informal payments, because there's also a correlation of this year's report. They focused on informal payments and the capacity of small business owners. I think reflects that more poorly managed companies are less competitive, and therefore they need to fill in that competition gap by making payments to help things along, to cover up their lower level of competitiveness. And so I think that this real looming issue for Vietnam of managerial capacity at small and medium enterprises at the leadership level is really a problem, that very difficult problem that Vietnam is going to have to solve.
Once again, thank you so much, Mr. Michael Greene, for joining and sharing with us today.
Excellent, thank you.
That's all we have for today's episode of Sharing Vietnam. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.